And welcome everybody to the Offensive Interference Podcast. I am Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining us once again. Make sure that you check out our sponsors, Say Less Sports Tees, our Unapologetically Black line pop-up coming to Tampa, Florida. We're going to be at Diamond Cuts on Saturday morning. Come check me out. Get you a t-shirt. If you want a hoodie, you can always fill out a form. Fill out your form and order a hoodie. But we're going to be there all day from 9 in the morning until ain't nothing else popping off there. So come by, check me out. Come by, check out, go grab you an Unapologetically Black t-shirt. It's going to be on sale. I believe they're going to be going for $15. You're not going to beat that anywhere. Don't quote me on it. I think it's $15. It might be $20. But it's normally $25 for a t-shirt. So $15 or $20 regardless, it's going to be a great deal. You want to make sure that you get it. You want to make sure that you have it. I've got some things to talk about. We've got 4 downs as normal. We're going to get the timer started. I won't hold you long today, but I've got some stuff that I've been thinking about. And the theme of the pod today is really. And so, out the gate, our first down, really, is it really about the interview? Now, I asked you if it's really about the interview because people keep telling me that Eric Bieniemy isn't going to get a head football coach because he interviews. His interviews are bad. I find that hard to believe, number one. I find it hard to believe that he doesn't interview well because what makes a good interview, what makes a bad interview? What you really should be doing if you're trying to hire somebody is you need to try to find out if their philosophy matches your philosophy. Clearly, whatever they've been saying to their teams, it's working. Eric Bieniemy is a respected coach around the NFL. He's respected by players. He's respected by other coaches. So if he doesn't interview well, is that just because maybe he's not comfortable in an interview setting with like a bunch of people who don't really understand football? I've heard interviews with Eric Bieniemy. I don't think I've ever heard a time where he sounded, stupid or just didn't sound good. He didn't interview well. So if it's not that, then is it the perception? Oh, well, maybe if he doesn't interview well, then when he gets interviewed by the public, he won't come off as somebody who is, a head coach. He doesn't sound like a head coach. All right, that might be it. Except Dan Campbell was just hired by the Detroit Lions, who, by the way, is now being headed up by a black man who's now the GM. And I don't know if he has any control over picking the head coach or not, but I just thought that was very interesting. A new black GM and the same old coaches that we get, except for he supposedly interviews well, right? So I started thinking about interviewing well, and I looked at the interview that Dan Campbell did with for his introductory press conference, because I was asking myself, well, maybe he interviews well, and I want to share with you what he did in his interview. This is what we all saw, so we can all watch this together.
This place has been kicked, it's been battered, it's been bruised, and I can sit up here and give you coach speak all day long. I can give you, hey, we're going to win this many games. I can't. None of that matters, and you guys don't want to hear it anyway. You've had enough of that. So excuse my language. All right. Here's what I do know is that this team is going to take on the identity of this city. All right. And the city's been down, and it found a way to get up. All right, it's found a way to overcome adversity. All right, and so this team's going to be built on. We're going to kick you in the teeth. All right, and when you punch us back, we're going to smile at at you, and when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing, all right? That's going to be the mentality.
If I seem to be speechless, it's because I'm speechless. Somebody told me that you have to interview well in these things. And you know what Dan Campbell sounded like in that interview? He sounded like a special teams coach. He didn't sound like a head coach. He sounded like a special teams coach. Am I saying that because I don't believe he will do a good job? No. I don't think that has anything to do with his ability to be a coach, nor do I think that how Eric Bieniemy interviews has anything to do with how good of a coach he is. You know what I do know? Every chance that people get, they diss Eric Bieniemy by saying, "Oh my God, that was a great play call by Andy Reid." Andy Reid doesn't call plays. They don't do it they haven't done it with any other coordinator that Andy Reid has had. The moment Andy Reid gave over play calling duties to other coaches, those coaches immediately got other jobs. I don't have to regurgitate their names. You know who they are. They immediately got jobs. Now, Eric Bieniemy is now in the 3rd cycle, the 3rd time that he should be getting a look for a job. Nothing. Don't get me started on Deuce Staley. Didn't even get a sniff with Philadelphia. He's only been with the Eagles for how long? But the guy that they hired with the Eagles supposedly has been working his way up forever. The new head coach in the Rams has less NFL coaching experience than almost every other coach in the NFL. And I'm not just talking about like head coaches. I mean, he has less NFL coaching experience than almost every other coach in the NFL. And yet he got a job. You've got someone who has made their rise up the ladder because of nepotism. You see it all over the place. And now we've got our coaches that are black that do great job, and Patrick Graham got no love this year. Patrick Graham had a New York Giants team that was devoid of any type of offensive legitimacy, and he kept those guys in the game because his defense was great. If you ask me, the Giants got it wrong because he should be the head coach, not Judge. The way that Judge handled himself and handled no. He sounds to me, he looks to me, he behaves to me like a special teams coach. Fiery, coach speak or quirky, awkward things to say because they're not quite used to this whole job. That's what he sounds like to me. But no love for Patrick Graham. And I know I've burnt over the time, but you know what? It's just frustrating. So I don't know what. Is it really about the interview? I say no. I think it has something else. I think it's a darker meaning to it. Second down, are we really going to keep pretending like we can't pay these players? Like, seriously. Every time I hear people act as if we can't pay players, I just pay college players, especially college football players. I just get upset. Let's just think about all of the money that's been spent just to fire coaches. Then to hire the new coach, you got to pay the new coach more than you paid the fired coach, because you got to now give that new coach some hope for stability. but we can't pay these players. We don't have any money to pay these players. These $50,000 scholarships, because all of the education prices are inflated now. Oh, well, yeah, this is an expensive education because your public school that used to cost, $10,000 to go to, in the span of 15, 20 years went from 15,000 to 30,000 because of your football team exploding the enrollment of the school, because people want to go to schools where there's a football, because football is the front porch of the program of the entire school. Ask the University of South Florida, whose applications doubled once they got football. It's all over the place. But we're saying we can't pay these players anything. We can't give them anything. I think that's ridiculous. I think that is off the mark. And I don't understand why we can't just call the hypocrisy what it is. Let's just say this. So Nick Saban, who's already one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid coaches in football, not just in, college, but in football. Nick Saban earned $950,000 in bonuses, in on-field bonuses, before the national championship game. So that means that when they won the national championship game, that locked in a $200,000 bonus that Nick Saban got. That means that Nick Saban, who already makes millions of dollars a year, got an extra $1,150,000 in on-field bonuses because his team was good. Now, I'm not a mathematician, so I have a calculator here. I just want to do the math on that. So that's $1,120,000. Let's divide that by 80 players. Let's divide it by 80 players. You know what? 115 0,000, lots of zeros, $1 million, divided by 100. Let's divide it by 100 players. That's $11,500 that you could have just handed to each player on the team after the national championship game. Hey, congratulations. 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 A fantastic job this year. Here's your bonus. Now, I just talked about Nick Saban's bonus. I didn't say anything about the bonuses that the assistant coaches get, who are also all making really good money and who are most likely going to get a head coaching job simply for being on the staff with Nick Saban. You've already seen two this year. The new head coach at Marshall, is a brother, by the way. He was off for the Alabama coaching staff. We know about Sarkisian in Texas. They gave that guy another Power 5 job after he ran 2 programs down. Okay. Just because he can call plays with the best athletes in the running this, you know what? Never mind. All I know is that we can pay these players, and don't give me the whole thing about, oh, well, we can't pay them because then it'll make everything unequal. There won't be any equity. There won't be any equity in college. There won't be any parity. There's no parity now. I can tell you who's going to most likely be in the championship game next year. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Georgia. Maybe a surprise team. It's so bad that the Pac-12 added more teams so that they could be more respected only to be less respected. Unless a Pac-12 team, excuse me, unless a Pac-12 team goes undefeated, there's no way they're going to the college football playoff, because a one-loss Pac-12 team will never trump a one-loss SEC team, and a one-loss Pac-12 team will most likely not trump a one-loss Big Ten team. A one-loss Pac-12 team may even have an issue jumping over a one-loss Big 12 team. So, you know what? Yes, we can pay these players, but we're really going to continue to pretend like we can't, because everybody has their hand out and everybody's getting money except for the people who make the product worth watching. And that's a shame. Third down, do you really believe the thing in New Jersey is going to work? So a little basketball for you. James Harden joined the dynamic duo of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I sat back and went, why do you need a third star when you have Kevin Durant, who is arguably one of the top two players in the NBA, and you have Kyrie Irving, who is a star and one of the best ball handlers and scorers in the game. So you got two of the best scorers in the game. You got one of the best ball handlers in the game. The other one is a sniper from everywhere, and he happens to be 7 foot. You don't need another guard forward star. You need somebody to do all of the stuff that they don't need to be focusing on, so that they could just focus on getting these buckets and getting people the ball. You needed role players. You needed guys to fill out the roster. So what did? They went out and got James Harden, who you know what? If you're done, you're done. It's cool with me. I don't like the way he did his teammates. They didn't deserve that, but I'm happy he's happy. But they went out and got James Harden, who essentially is a bigger version of Kyrie Irving. So they got the same player. It was already starting to look weird when Kyrie Irving was taking more shots than Kevin Durant. Now you add Harden, and you mortgage not only your bench, but you mortgage any hopes of adding young talent to go with this nucleus going forward. So once it's over, you're going to fall off of a cliff, very similarly to the way, Houston has had to fall off of a cliff because they mortgaged their future. You can say what you want about LeBron, but LeBron never made his teams mortgage their future for him. When LeBron left, Cleveland still had studs. They decided to get rid of some of those guys. They decided to go full on rebuild. They still had some players. They had draft picks. So he didn't leave them high and dry. Both times that he left, he didn't leave them high and dry. The first time, when he went to Miami, boom, picks came swapping back. Second time, when he goes to LA, he just said, I'm out. He didn't let them mortgage their future before he went out the door. And so, understanding that, you go, what? And so then, those same 3 stars go into overtime. I think double overtime with the Cleveland Cavaliers and lose. And I know it's a regular season game, but I'm telling you, those 3 make the Nets really interesting to watch. They make the Nets a scoring like juggernaut. But Kyrie don't play no D. Harden don't play no D. Kevin Durant can't be the person playing all the D and scoring points. So now you got to take one of them off and then put one on. And I don't believe it's going to work. I hope that they get to the championship game, but I really want to see what it's going to look like when they have to go up against a blue collar, get it in the mud type team like Miami. And I don't mean like a one game scenario. I mean where you got to see them game after game after game and they're wearing you down. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with that team. I just don't like it. Fourth down, we have to do better, and this is really a call to action for all of my my football coaching brethren. We see what the climate is. We know that our young men are, and our young women, but our young women do a really good job of policing themselves when it comes to their grades and making sure that they have what they need to be successful at the next level, because they're not focused on this delusion of grandeur of the professional league and making millions of dollars. They're focused on, hey, I want to get this college scholarship so that my parents don't have to pay for me to go to school, or so that I don't have to leave college with debt. But a lot of our guys are thinking that I'm going to college regardless because I'm good enough. We have to do a better job of holding them accountable early while they're still a little bit afraid, while they're still a little bit weary about, before they're feeling themselves, before people have boosted their head so high locally that they think that they're global even when they're not. Because we cannot allow these young men to finish high school with 2.5s and 2.6s, or have them finish with hollow 3.1s, where they have a 3.1, but when you break it down to their core class, they have a 2.3 because all of their A's are in a physical education class or an elective class that might just be really simple or just something that's fun and they take to. We have to hold their feet to the fire, because if we don't, we run into a year like we're running into right now, where colleges have been handcuffed by the NCAA, who says, hey, have an extra year, but don't give any extra scholarships. And so now we have kids all over the country. I see y'all tweeting every day, coaches. Oh man, these guys don't really want kids. These coaches ain't really, they have no room. All of those kids opted back in. And now the lower levels are trying to get something for nothing, because that's the society that we live in. That's what we do. So we have to help our kids out to be able to go, listen, son, you've got a 3.7 GPA. You can go wherever you want to go and walk on. You want to go to Georgia? You know what? If you want to go to Georgia, young man, take your 3.7 and go to Georgia. If you want to go to Alabama, take your 3.7 and go to Alabama and walk on and make them love you. Don't take your 2.7 and go and hope that, or tell people that they're sleeping on you when you have a 2.7. They're not sleeping on you. You slept on yourself. But we as coaches can help, because we all know that if you keep that GPA high early, it becomes almost a thing where you go, where the kid goes, oh snap, what's that C? I'm used to getting A's. But if they start with C's and they're used to getting C's, once they get to a C, they feel satisfied. Or once they get to a B, they feel accomplished. And we know that a B is just a 3.0. That's it. A 3.0 is nothing. The 3.0 has to be the floor. It can't be the ceiling. And so we as coaches, we have to do better. We got to start banging it into their heads in the youth league. If they're not getting good grades, sit their asses down. In middle school, if they're failing the class, sit their asses down. And in high school, I know that there's a trickle down now. And I know, coaches, you have to win in order to keep your jobs. I get it. Trust me, I know. If anybody else doesn't know, I know. You have to understand that the mission is bigger than the wins and the losses, and that we are losing the battle with our young men if we let them graduate with 2.7s, if we let them graduate with a 3.0 or a hollowed out 3.1. We're losing the battle. And now it looks like that we're not trying to put our kids in college, or we're not trying to do whatever. And you know that a lot of times those colleges love to have your kid, but they can't give them enough aid to get them in, or they can't offer them a full scholarship, and it's $50,000 to go to that school. And you're not sending your kid to a school with a $10,000 scholarship and $20,000 in aid, in free aid, so that they, or not even free aid, but just in aid, so that they now have to take out $30,000 in loans. And now they're finishing college $120,000 in debt. No, that's irresponsible. You coaches know that. You don't want to do that to your kid. You don't need those hollowed celebrations. We can help them. And we can help them by holding their feet to the fire early. Because if you do it when they come in the door as freshmen, if you make them live up to this standard as freshmen, then you don't have to worry about them as seniors. They already understand it. So fellas, this is my charge to you. Ladies, this is my charge to you. Mothers, fathers, let's enjoy the game. Let's enjoy watching our kids compete. But let's not think about wins and losses before we think about that young man winning. We want him to win. And the only way he's going to win when it comes from going from high school to college, the only way he's going to win is if he gets the grades. And that falls on us. We can do better, and we will do better. Now, I do have overtime, and I just want to give a special shout out and congratulations to all of the ladies out there that are doing the Bust It Challenge. Like, it has been fun to watch. It's been entertaining. It's been enjoyable. It's been funny because, like, some people do like the spoof on the Bust It Challenge. I've watched some of those. Those are funny. And I don't even have TikTok. So I've only ever seen it when they roll across my timeline. So shout out to all of you. You look beautiful. But this has given us, fellas, I'm talking to you now, fellas. Ladies, don't listen. Fellas, the Bust It Challenge has proved that these makeup companies are way too advanced. Oh my gosh. But also tells you that these ladies are beautiful even before they put on makeup. I see you in your shower cap and your sweatpants trying to look like you're busted. You're not. We see you. We know you're beautiful. We know you can be beautiful when you're glammed up. Duh. You're still beautiful with all that other stuff on, ladies. So fellas, I see it the way you see it. Ladies, keep doing your thing. And can we get like a challenge that guys can do? Like something that's not going to make us look like, stupid, but something that we can have fun with. Ladies, y'all have done the Don't Rush Challenge. Y'all have done the Bust It Challenge. Where's the things for my fellas? Trust me, if there's one out there, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it just so that I can say I did one. So I really have enjoyed it, and I'm waiting for our challenge. And once we get our challenge, I'm in it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Make sure, Unapologetically Black, if you want to pick up an Unapologetically Black hoodie. If you want an Unapologetically Black t-shirt, you can order them online, saylessports.com. That's saylessports.com. If you have any teams that are looking for team sales and a great price, they do team packages and jerseys and uniforms and spirit wear. saylessportstees@gmail.com. That's saylessportstees@gmail.com. Support the people that support us. And if you're in the Tampa Bay area, come check us out. Diamond Cuts, get your hair cut. Sean, Reggie, all those guys will be out there. Jolly, they'll be out there cutting hair all day. Go get a haircut. Pick yourself up an Unapologetically Black t-shirt. Get into the running for a free hoodie. There's going to be a drawing for a free hoodie. We'll love to see you out there. And until next time, I've been Coach Gene Clemens. Ask yourself, really. See you later.